Good evening. I do apologize for this very late trade review. Not that you care, you're probably asleep. Congratulations. But yeah, hopefully you wake up to this lovely and inspiring video. I've got a couple things to go over here. So if you stick through to the end, or you know what, I'll talk about it first. Shoot, okay. So trend following on the SPY. My friend was telling me about this, and it seems brilliant to me. I'm just going to give it to you real quick. These are 15-minute candles, okay? And you can see that the money, the institutional money, was collecting shares here. This is a buying frenzy, right? And then it begins this trend. And these are 15-minute candles. So once you knew that a trend was established, you could, in theory, buy either shares or calls and risk the low of the previous candle. And doing that, you could have climbed the SPY all the way up to here. And then there's a clear trend break. You can take your profits. And you could even grab puts because now there's a clear downtrend. And then the downtrend breaks, and you can ride this trend up, risk the bottom of the previous candle, take your profits. If the trend clearly breaks, you could grab puts there and ride it all the way down, risking the top of the previous candle. So again, you determine the trend, you take your entry, preferably on a counter move. So when this candle pokes up and then it comes down, you can grab your call anywhere into this push and then just risk the bottom of the previous candle. Or if you're playing the downtrend, so you wait until the uptrend breaks. You've got your very clear line, and when it breaks, it's very clearly catastrophic. You can grab a put. Either, I don't recommend chasing it in, but I'm pretty sure that there was a push on this candle, so you could grab your put on that push and risk the high of the previous candle, and then risk the high of the previous candle. And when you see that this downtrend is clearly broken, you can go ahead and take your profits. And you could even flip and hope for an uptrend. We do get this uptrend, and the lines are clearer on the 5-minute chart because that's where I drew these lines. But you can see when this trend line cracks, I mean, you could just flip short and risk the high of the previous candle, and you would have ridden that all the way to the close, and it would have been glorious for you. So that is how you can play a trend on major markets. That being said, let's go ahead and have a look at my trades today. I'm going to make this really brief because I am friggin' fatigued. So in short, I was not in control today. And that's super bad, and I get it. And I think it all started when I woke up in the morning and I felt funny, and I says to myself, I feels funny, maybe I should not trade today. And the worst part about not listening to that little voice is that when anything goes wrong all day, you say to yourself, I knew I shouldn't have traded today. So listen to that little voice, because if you don't, it's gonna beat you up. Whether or not that voice was correct, if anything goes wrong during the trading day, it's gonna amplify that frustration because you knew better. Anyway, so I am hanging out and watching the SPY, and I see this beautiful ascending triangle form, and then it breaks out. It breaks up over this risk level, and I grab a call, which is silly. I know better than to buy a breakout. And it falls back down, and I stop out. So this is really where I should have bought the breakout, when it came back down and it tested this support. So you can see that there was all of this consolidation in here, and I drew this nice box to indicate that. And then this arrow came, or this candle came down, and it didn't even touch the box. It did not even test this key support zone. But that did not stop me from stopping out. I took a small loss. I may have given it a wider berth. If I had given it a wider risk, then that could have been good. I did stop out really tight, which was not necessarily the best choice. So then it pops up, but I see it's on all this small volume, and so I'm like, well, I'm grabbing a put. And I don't actually know where this red line came from. But anyway, I'm like, well, I'm grabbing a put. And so I do. And I was immediately down on my position. It looks like I was right for a moment. So it looks like this candle did have a little pull. But what I was seeing is, again, these volume bars are staying about the same, but these candles are getting bigger, and that doesn't make sense to me. I grab a put, but do I stop out? No, I don't stop out. So I'm down way more than I'm comfortable with. I think at some point I was down $50. I don't know why I didn't stop out, but I should have. Anyway, I was early on the play, and then I averaged down on my put, so I had a better entry, and I did it right at the top, which is pretty phenomenal. And it's just because of this volume action and these candles getting bigger, like I had said before. So that said to me something funny's going on here. And so I grabbed a put to average down, and then because I had messed up psychologically so many times, trading when I knew it was a bad trading day, letting the trade get away from me and being way further down than I ever care to be, $50. I guess it's not that bad. It's not the end of the world, but it stands in defiance of my rules, and it was just bad discipline. And I knew that. So as soon as the trade went in my direction, I stopped. I took profits right away. I think I might have put a stop order and had been chasing it down, but then when it popped back up, it stopped me out. They took my puts. I did not make a lot of money. I think I wound up losing $50 anyway. And it was just bad. But it wasn't the worst. So, SPY breaks trend, as we just discussed. It did not push as I thought that it had. It looks like it did push in the last 5 minutes on very low volume, so you might have grabbed something there. I didn't. But you notice it does bounce on this gray box that I drew. And it gets down past VWAP, and it tries to bounce and fails. And then it dumps down and just like barely pushes through this volume profile, this point of control here, and kind of near low of day, where the institutional traders had snatched it up earlier, the wholesalers. yeah, wholesalers had snatched it up earlier. So I'm thinking it's going to bounce here. And I grabbed a call option for really cheap. I got a very good deal on it. And then the SPY pushes, and this I saw this candle, and I was like, I would buy puts here if I wasn't already in a trade. I would buy puts here, and so I sold my call option, and I did not reap grand benefits, my friends. I can tell you, I reaped moderate benefits. Um, but it brought me to a place psychologically where I was able to take a trade again. So that put combination put me an average. I was down more than $50 on the day, but then after I bought that call and it bounced up, and I sold it, I was down less than $50, and I was like, "Woohoo! I can do this," um, which is just not great. Uh, so I grab a put right here as it's pushing. You can see it's got this shooting star with low volume. And so I'm thinking that that's a bearish sign. So I grab a put and it immediately turns in my favor. So if I had scalped that put, it would have been a really great play. Um, but the trend wasn't done. So it immediately goes into my favor and then turns against me right after. And you get this hammer, which is a bullish sign, which, has me shaking in my little space boots. It pushes over this previous resistance where I thought this zone was important, and it did turn out to be important. But can I expand that or just add to it? Okay. So this zone did turn out to be important, but not that important. So now I'm down on my position again. I'm down beyond my stop. I don't want to be down more than $50. I was just down more than $50 and it wasn't fun. I'm now down too much. And so SPY pushes, and I see that it's descending volume, but the candles are getting bigger. So the volume is not validating the price action. And so I grab another put. Yes, my friends, I averaged down again. And then, and this was just, I mean, it was what? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 minutes is all it was, but it felt like an eternity. And I kept saying, you know, I kept moving my stop up. I didn't have a manual stop in. Um, I didn't have a manual stop in. I had a mental stop in. And I just kept moving it up and moving it up. And it was just awful. And then right around here at the top, I hit my pain point because I was down over $100, which I don't like, and I was down over $100 on this trade, so that's like 150 for the day. And I know they say you shouldn't play your P&L, but I do. Okay, like money has meaning to me, and I let it get to me. Um, and actually, right here at the top, I'm going to mark it with this white arrow that I'm just going to erase in a minute anyway. So it had this really big push, this like massive push bounce off the trend line, massive push on no volume. And so I took myself out of the equation. I actually put in a stop so that if it hit a certain price, then I would just be out. But right there, I'm thinking, wow, I should add here. I should just average down some more and be good to go. And I did not average down more. But I was correct, and the SPY turned around there. It broke the trend line, and it just had this massive dump off. And so the reason I said that this level was important is you can see that it actually stalled here. It stalled and popped back up, and that would have been a great opportunity to get bearish as well. But I didn't take it. I had enough, and I was not thinking straight. So conservative target, the SPY comes down, and it's got this massive downward acceleration, and so my contracts are rapidly gaining premium. It hits the VWAP, and I sell one of them, so now I'm break even on that one, and then it pushes down, and it hit my aggressive target, which was that point of control. And at that point, I was green on the day, and so I took it. I wasn't thinking clearly. I was just thinking, thank God I'm green. And all of this was just a horrible disaster. Like my two plays today. So I had two great plays. I had this one where I stuck to the plan. It wasn't a great plan, but I stuck to the plan. And then I had this one where, again, my target was VWAP anyway. So when it didn't break through VWAP, I just took it. So those were great executions and great examples of discipline. But then these bearish plays were just not good examples of discipline at all. And the market rewarded me for holding through that disaster. And in a way, that's really unfortunate. But so when it started dumping down like it did, and I got out, I was just so grateful to be out. But when it kept going, I did not feel bad. I did not lament my decision. And it could be very easy to beat myself up for this. But that's not how I feel at all. The market gave me an extraordinary gift, and I truly desire to change my ways and not put myself through this again. I'm not beating myself up for not taking or for not sitting with that move, because there's no way I could have seen it, and I was not in the mindset to see it. So I took what was just handed to me, and I'm happy about it. The fact that I ended the day green is a miracle to me, and I'm grateful for that. But I still watched, and I still made my little calls. I knew that it would bounce right there where it did. Why did I know that it was going to bounce here? Because, let's see, what was I looking at? I saw all this volume come in, and then this volume was less than the rest. So the selling had exhausted itself, and you get this lower wick. Um, so the lower wick combined with the lower volume, or the bigger wick combined with the lower volume, I was like, this is about to bounce. And bounce it did. And then it came up here, and you can see these upper wicks. I think it was this candle here. So you're getting upper wicks against this volume profile, which is a form of resistance people bought here. So you get these long wicks against this resistance level. I'm like, she's got more to go. And so she did. And that is the day trading fairy tale. I was saved by a merciful market, and I hope to change my ways. So thank you for watching. I hope that you learned something. I hope you learned from my mistakes. I was saved by the grace of the market. I was not in control of this situation at all. Please don't put yourself through that. It's not fun. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe if you want to. Talk to you later.